Hi, in this lesson, we are going to be learning to identify the special angles formed by parallel lines in a transversal and how to apply that knowledge to find the missing values. Okay, in this lesson, we are going to be learning a lot of vocabulary. So during the practice, you'll probably be referring back to the vocabulary part a lot as you are learning the terms. We're going to start off with parallel. That term is probably pretty familiar to you. It's two lines that are always the same distance apart, and parallel lines will never intersect. So there's an example of parallel lines. It's not that I didn't think you didn't know what parallel was. The part I wanted to point out to you was this right here. This is showing you what parallel this triangle or arrowhead shows you that it means parallel. And sometimes it's a full-on triangle. If we have two sets of parallel lines that happen to intersect one another, so say I have another set right here, they would have a double arrow to show that these two are parallel to each other, but not parallel to the single, because that wouldn't have made sense. A transversal is a line that intersects two other lines. So if I take two lines and I intersect it with one other line, that one single line is called a transversal. So that one's right here. This is the transversal. Okay, so transversals, when they intersect parallel lines, they form special angles, which we're going to learn about on the next slide. Congruent is the same shape and the same size. We learned about that last week. Simply put, it means equal. Okay, on the rest of the definitions, you're going to want at least 4 different colors. Highlighters work awesome, but so do 4 different colored pencils. So if you need to, pause the video and go get 4 different colors. It's going to really help us to be able to identify the special angles that are formed. Okay. Our first special angle that's formed with parallel lines and a transversal are corresponding angles. First thing you need to know is that corresponding angles are congruent. That's actually really important to know. Corresponding angles are angles that are ones that are at the same location at each intersection. Okay, so we're going to see what this looks like. So I'm going to pick my first color. I'm going to just highlight one of the angles. I'm just going to start with angle 1. I'm sorry, that is not a highlighter. I scribbled out the number. Just get my highlighter tool. Okay, angle 1. So notice angle 1's position. Angle 1 is on top of the parallel line and on the left side of the transversal. So I'm going to be looking for another angle that is on top of a parallel line on the left side of the transversal. So I'm going to go to the other parallel line, and I'm looking for, here's my transversal. So it's on top of the parallel line and on the left side of the transversal. So that's angle 5. So angle 1 and angle 5 correspond to each other because they're in the same location. So that means angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent. It means their angle measurement is equal. Okay, we're going to pick a different color. And let's look at angle 2. Angle 2 is also on top of the parallel line, but this time it's on the right side of the transversal. So I'm going to go down to my next intersection. I'm looking on top of the parallel line, on top of the transversal. That makes angle 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are congruent to each other. We're going to grab our third color. We're going to go to angle 3. This time angle 3 is below the parallel line on the left side of the transversal. So that leaves angle 7 because it's below the parallel line on the left side of the transversal. So angle 3 equals angle 7. And then our last color would be 4 and 8. Angle 4 and angle 8 are also congruent. They equal each other. And those are our last set of corresponding angles. Okay, our next special angle that is formed are alternate interior angles. So they are also congruent. So whatever, and we're going to talk about what they are, but those sets of angles are also congruent. Oops, we're on a highlighter. Let's look at the word alternate interior. So first off, the word interior means inside. So they're going to be inside something, and alternate means to switch, like back and forth, to alternate. So if we're looking at the definition, it's two angles that are in between the parallel lines. So that's the inside. and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. That's where they alternate sides. So they're inside the parallel lines and they alternate sides. So the word is really actually quite descriptive of what we're actually doing. So we're inside the parallel lines. So we're only going to be looking in the parallel lines. So we're not using these ones that are outside the parallel lines. We're only looking at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me switch back to a highlighter. Okay. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the angles we're looking at. So let's just start with 3. Okay. So, and we're going to alternate sides of the transversal. And notice 3 is this tiny little acute angle, and 4 is this big obtuse angle. And they're supposed to be congruent. So we're not just going across the line. Those are actually supplementary of each other. We're alternating down to 6. So it's 3 and 6 are alternate interiors. So we're crossing the transversal and we're going down. So think, looking at the line, what would be the other set? Yeah, 4 and 5. Notice how they're alternating sides. Big obtuse angle, another big obtuse angle. So angle 3 equals angle 6 and angle 4 equals angle 5. Okay, the next one is alternate exterior angles. So this is similar to the interior, except now we're looking outside of the parallel lines. They are also congruent outside the parallel line, still on the opposite side of the transversal. Okay, so this time when we're looking at our angles, we're only going to be looking at the numbers outside of the parallel lines. So 1, 2, 7, and 8. We're not looking inside. So if I start with 1, and I'm going to alternate sides of the transversal. So that goes all the way down here to the other side. So 1 and 8. 1 is congruent to 8. Notice how big obtuse angle, another big obtuse angle. And then that leaves 2 and 7. Those are our little acute angles. So angle 1 equals angle 8 and angle 2 equals angle 7. Okay, our last special angles that are formed are consecutive interior angles, also called same side interiors. So consecutive interior or same side interior. So again, we're going to be inside the lines. So we're inside the lines. Consecutive means in order, or you could say same side. So same side of the transversal. These ones are different. They are supplementary. So that means if I add them together, they're going to equal 180. So inside the parallel line, same side of the transversal. So that says if I take angle 3 and angle, that did not switch, angle 3 and angle 5, and I add those together, it's going to give me 180 degrees. Or if I take angle 4 and angle 6, that's going to give me 180 degrees when I add them together. So those are our different angle measurements. Okay, so now we're going to apply this knowledge. And every time we do this, we're going to ask ourselves 2 questions. The first question is to determine the relationship. So we ask ourselves, are both of them inside? So that's one of our interiors. Are they both outside? That's our exterior. Are they one of each? That's our corresponding. So let's go back and look at that really quick. Sorry. Our corresponding, notice the yellow, there was one inside and one outside. On the interior, they're both inside. Exterior, they're both outside. And here's our other interior. They were, again, both inside. Okay, so we ask ourselves both inside, outside, or one of each. Okay, looking here, here's our parallel lines right here and here. Notice our angles are both inside. Okay, so that means it's an interior. Then we have to decide, are they same side interior or are they alternating interior? Well, they're not on the same side, so that makes them alternating interior. Sorry, I am on a weird pin. Okay, and then the next question is, are they congruent or are they supplementary? So you go back and you look at your notes and you see that alternate interior angles are congruent. So that means that this angle equals that other angle. So the question mark is 84 degrees. Okay, so we keep asking ourselves these questions over and over again, both inside, outside, or one of each. Again, these are both inside. This time they're same side interior. or consecutive interior, and those happen to be supplementary. There are one that's supplementary. Everything's congruent except for this one. So that means 100 plus the question mark equals 180 degrees, leaving the question mark being 80 degrees. Okay, same question again. Same. Are they both inside, outside, or one of each? Okay. On 3, I have one inside the parallel lines, and I have one outside the parallel lines. So that's not an interior nor an exterior. That means they are corresponding. Okay, then we ask ourselves, are they congruent or supplementary? Those ones happen to be congruent, so that means they are equal to each other. So this is 61 degrees. Okay, next one, both inside, outside, or one of each. These are both inside, and they're on the same side. So it's same side, interior. Okay, congruent or supplementary. Flip back to your notes on the front side. Oh, those are supplementary. That means if I add them, 9x plus 6 plus 75, that's going to equal 180. Okay, so we're going to need combine like terms. So we get 9x plus 81 equals 180. So I combined those. Sorry, switching colors not as easy. Subtract 81. And we get 9x equals 99. Whoops, I apologize, I hit the wrong button. Then we divide by 9, and x is going to be 11. That's x, not a question. Okay, let's try the next one. Are these both inside, outside, or one of each? Oh, one of each, so it's not an interior or an exterior. You can flip it over and look. Oh, corresponding. Okay, and corresponding are congruent or supplementary. Those are congruent, so they are equal to each other. X plus 123 equals 115. So we're going to subtract 123. And we get x equals negative 8. And it's okay that it's a negative because when I plug it back in here, it still equals a positive angle. X was just a piece of that. It was not the whole angle degree. Okay, one more. Both inside, outside, or one of each. They're both inside. They alternate sides, so that's an alternate interior. And those happen to be congruent. So 10x equals 70. We'll divide by 10. So x is 7. And that's it. Every time you ask yourself these questions, where are the angles? That gives us the angle relationship. Then you ask yourself, are they congruent or supplementary? That tells you how to set up the problem, solve for the variable. Rewind and rewatch if you need to. Good luck.